Greetings everyone, Vanna back here. Today we are not going to be talking about magic, surprisingly. We are going to be talking about art, and specifically I'm going to be doing something that I'm going to call an Artsperiment, which I'm hoping will be a series on this channel of me trying out new and fun ways to play with art. I'm currently writing, or in the process of framing out and writing 2 different books, one of which is one called Enigma. And I have a character named Lionel who is a representation of myself, using him to work through anger issues that I've had from my childhood in a healthy, cathartic way. Lionel is my character here. I want him to have a darker skin tone because, for one, we need more representation of main characters and heroes that have that darker skin tone and are not just the regular, "Oh, my name is Chad!" that kind of thing. No, we don't want a Giga Chad as our hero. So Lionel, for one, will have bright green eyes, bright orange hair, and like a mocha kind of skin. This is the picture that I already drew up and lined with my liner pens and erased all the pencil marks, so this is basically going to be our coloring page for today. To color with, I have my Prismacolor color pencil set. This is the 150 set from Amazon. For skin tones, right now I'm using the Crayola Colors of the World pack, because that was the first one that I had seen that had specific colors for skin tone. So I was looking around and looking at techniques for coloring with skin tones and the difference between the Crayola Colors of the World and the Prismacolors. In no way is this a tutorial. I am not skilled enough to be comfortable doing a tutorial on that. This is an Artsperiment. Let's see if I can A, improve my coloring technique, and B, get a skin tone for Lionel that I'm happier with. As an Artsperiment, I'm just sharing and learning things. I am going to make mistakes, and I am fine with that. So what you doing today, Mama?
I'm working on a salvaged canvas that I got off of a neighbor. I had to white gesso it and do about 4 coats to get it. So then I started creating a picture around the bubbles and dimples and things that I couldn't even out. I tried to sand off the big chunks, but certain areas it was so stuck I was going to tear the canvas. So there's dimpling and bubbling, but I'm going to use those as lines for like tree branches or something like that.
I would like to have a word from the gypsy on art. You know what I'm doing in there with Lionel and his skin tone picture, right?
Aye.
Do you have any word of advice?
Take your time. Your stumpies are your best friends.
I've got some of those in the cup.
Light coats, buff it out. And start with your lightest color and add the darker, because it's a lot easier to darken in the areas that you want to, but it becomes really difficult to lighten it. And if you over-process the paper, if you over-manipulate it, you end up with kneading where it starts to feather. And
yeah, I've done that to a couple of pictures.
So always go gently, don't press hard, and slow and steady wins the race. And stumpies, when in doubt, stumpy.
And that's the word of a gypsy.
Okay, so I think I am ready to begin.
Still finding these pencil marks I've got to erase on there. Christy Partridge Art is the video that I used for the reference for the skin tone palettes with the Prismacolor sets. I would highly recommend you go over there if you need help with skin tone, because she does 4 separate tones, starting with a light pink tone and ending with a beautiful dark cocoa brown. I am going to be shooting for a middle stage of her to a tan skin tone and a light brown skin tone, and I'm looking for a middle ground between that. In the story, his birth soul mother is a black goddess, and she is gorgeous. So when Lionel is in the place that he has called home his entire life, Unity, he's the only person there that has that darker skin tone, because he's a demigod, but we're gonna keep that between us for now. Not everyone knows that, so just shh. But Lionel has this beautiful, beautiful skin tone. And I am in love with it. In my head, I'm in love with it. It has not so easily transferred out onto paper. But I have high hopes for this because I am changing several things about drawing him. For one, I'm using a different kind of paper. This is the general sketchbook paper that you would buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It is smooth-ish, but sometimes you have to go over it quite a bit with colored pencil to fill in those white holes that you get. So this is a mixed medium paper. I am very heavy-handed. I put a lot of pressure when I'm drawing, but that's usually when I'm drawing flat. I've adopted to using this as my drawing station. It's just a tabletop thing. Like, this is just my regular desk, and I can fold this down and tuck it between my shelves, and it's gone. Having it on a slant like this, I don't have to do so much pressure because I'm not hunched over it. I can actually sit up and look at it better. Also, where you hold the colored pencils. Traditionally, most people hold them like down here, and that puts way too much pressure on your tip and your paper. You're going to mess up your colored pencils like that, and you're going to tear through your paper, which I have done many times. I swear my art teacher and friend is like, you're always too heavy-handed with it, so I'm trying. For blending, as Christy mentioned, and I'm actually really happy that she mentioned this because this was just something that I kind of adapted myself before learning a lot about it, was using a white color pencil to blend and smoothen out your paper. I think I am ready to start coloring him in. I did add this bit of shadow right under his chin. For one, I love the effect that it has on the picture when it's fully colored. It gives it such like a professional anime style, and as an anime dork, I go, damn, that looks cool. And then I remember I did it, and so I just feel proud. And it was also covering up some bad line work that I had where the jaw and the chin were meeting, and I didn't quite like how that was lining up. So this just fixes that problem. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it there because my video is about 50 minutes and that takes a long time to export out. And I want to take my girls outside before it gets dark. But that is my final product right now. I love the lips. They look awesome. The skin tone is pretty nice. There are certain parts that are lighter than what I want, but I'm going to come at it with fresh eyes tomorrow. I know, Gravity, you're a bitch. But I will come back to this and see what I do with the skin then. Alright, welcome back to day 2 of my Artsperiment. I just finished getting everything set up and getting it ready. I'm still pretty happy with the skin tones. I went ahead and sketched or colored in his eyes and hair because, for one, it looked very odd to me having all that white space, because typically during this process I would have that done a little more like what I have done here, the base colors, because I don't want his skin to be too warm or too cool for what his hair and eyes are. So to get a better grasp and being closer to what I want for him, I just went ahead and did the base colors of just apple green and mineral orange for his eyes and hair. And when the skin tone is closer to what I want and something that I'm really happy with, I will go through and color his eyes and hair and outfits. Coloring is one of my favorite parts of the drawing process. And especially when it comes to eyes. Like, I have pages upon pages in my sketchbook that are just eyes, because I love drawing them. They're so expressive. You could tell so much about a character just by this. And it's so cool. I'm going to be going in with some of the darker tones today because he looks a little jaundicey. But that was probably my bad with starting with the jasmine as his base tone instead of a cream or beige. But like I said, this is an Artsperiment, not a tutorial. You will be seeing my mistakes, and I will be actively admitting them because it helps me learn, and I hope it will help you learn. So we've got our coffee. I've got the Christy Partridge video up here for me to reference back to, because like I said, I wanted a medium between her tan skin tone and her darker brown skin tone. So I want to try and find a nice medium there. So of course, I've made life harder for myself, not wanting to go with something that's already done. But we break the mainframe. Also fuck up our words. Yes. Okay, so I said pause cartoons. This is looking amazing. That is looking so much better. Those dark browns, you really do not need a lot of it to get that color that you want. Or at least that I want. Like, that is so much closer to his beautiful golden color that I want. As a reminder, take care of your hands when you're drawing anything. Do stretches, take care of it, because I have a mound of arthritis between my 2 knuckles here from opening boxes at retail jobs. So when I draw, especially when I have to apply heavy pressure like I do with the white to get the smoothness, it hurts my hand. And I want to work with my hands for the rest of my life. So take care of your hands, y'all. Okay, so I think with that, I'm happy with his skin tone as it is. I will probably go through and add some more shadow in darker parts, but it's to the point where I'm satisfied with that. That's my Lionel. Like, this is what I wanted for him. It's a lot closer. It's beautiful. I am going to color his hair, eyes, and his tunic. And then after that, I will go through with my liner pens, reline everything, put the white where it needs to go, like in his teeth and his eyes. I'm very happy with what I've done here. The Prismacolors blend a lot better than the Crayola colors of the world that I have found. I am seeing spots and pieces where I need to blend a little better, but that is just the constant process that I have. Like, when I'm doing like a full body picture, I don't notice something is like completely off until I'm in the coloring phase of it. I'm like, well, fuck it. Usually I can hide it easier with how I color and shade the clothes and stuff, and I can like take off a few inches here and then reline it and it looks a lot better. But it's just part of the ever-evolving process of improving your skill as an artist. I think a lot of people get really stressed out to make their pieces and everything beautiful and perfect from the start, but like, that's an unnecessary amount of stress. Don't try and make it perfection on your first try. Like, I have been drawing him for the entirety that I've been drawing. It's an ever-evolving process, like me and him, ever-changing. Don't put pressure on yourself, love. personally am very happy with this. His tunic looks great. Probably could have used some more coloring, but I want to get this video finished editing and upload it today. Chasing perfection is going to drive me insane. Yes, I'm going to make mistakes, but that fear of the mistake is what's keeping me from my happiness right now. And I'm working against that. I'm chasing my happiness. I'm very happy with that, and I hope that someone got some inspiration to do something that they're afraid of. Speaking of doing something that they're afraid of, if you guys are interested in seeing the rest of that painting that we saw when we went into Mom's room, she has actually uploaded a video on her channel, the Carolina Gypsy. And I am so proud of her. Over there, she is going to share all sorts of other stuff, and her video that she uploaded very recently is about that painting and kind of her process. So give my mama some love and go listen to the ramblings of a mad gypsy. Love and light, I give you all my brightest blessings.